Hello, everyone. This is the ACE Teaching Fellows Program Overview webinar. So my name is Kat Swick. This is Patrick Ryan. We'll take just a second to introduce ourselves here in a second, and then I will run us through how our time together today is going to look like. So like I said, my name is Kat, and I was a member of ACE 28, the cohort that graduated 2 summers ago. I taught high school English and theology in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And now I'm working on the recruiting and admissions team here with Patrick, which is wonderful. Super happy to be here. This is part of my favorite part of the job, is just getting to know kind of the amazing people that we get to meet across the country. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm going to kick it over to Patrick to introduce himself, and then we'll get started.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Kat. I'm Patrick Ryan. I was a member of ACE 29, which is the cohort right after Kat. So I graduated this past summer. I taught high school science and a little bit of math down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I also got to coach some baseball, which was really fun. And now, yeah, I'm also with Kat here on the recruiting and admissions team, and really excited to get to work with a whole lot of young folks as they decide what they're going to do next, and if teaching's what makes sense for them. So really excited to be here. So yeah, Kat, if you want to get started here.
Thanks, Patrick. Something super quick to point out here with this picture is it's really cool because it's the dome from behind, which is not a super common shot. But if you look in the bottom right corner, that's actually our building on campus, Remick Family Hall. So if you're ever on campus, that's where we live. And we have the best view of the dome, which is wonderful. With that, we'll get started. So this is kind of what today's going to look like. We will do a little bit of an ACE Teaching Fellows program introduction. Patrick will walk us through the 3 pillars of ACE. We'll look at some program outcomes and where ACE will take you, both in the program and then beyond. And then we'll look at application timeline and materials that you need for that. Then we'll open it up for some Q&A. So with that, I'm going to get started just with a little bit of an introduction here. So this is our mission statement. And I'll move our faces so you can actually see. In the University of Notre Dame's Alliance for Catholic Education Teaching Fellows Program, passionate college graduates, students and their families, passionate college graduates serve students and their families as teachers in under-resourced Catholic schools, grow as leaders while earning a cost-free master's, and joyfully share their faith in the communities in which they live and work. Just to situate you guys here, Notre Dame is founded by the Congregation of Holy Cross. And so a lot of what we do surrounds the work that the Holy Cross priests and brothers and sisters do out in the world. So we're looking at service, teaching, and sharing in faith communities. And those are some of the huge things that we do here in ACE that reflect the university values as well. Here's some numbers, just like on a whole. The average number-ish of teachers that we're going to have in both cohorts is right now we have 184 that are teaching in 155 schools across the country, serving over 11,000 students coming from all backgrounds and having a remarkable impact. Just to kind of like put that in your brain, that is a lot of people that are being impacted by the work that we're doing here, which is really, really cool. And it just shows how meaningful the education program is, and both in our own schools and both on Notre Dame's campus, but also just like out in Catholic schools across the US. We're serving in a lot of different types of communities. And so we love that we can embrace people coming from all backgrounds, because we want to be able to serve people from all backgrounds. Just a little bit of a program overview. It's cost-free and debt-free, which means that you are not paying to do the program. You don't have to pay for your master's degree when you're on campus over the summer. You're not paying for meals in the dining hall, and you're not paying for living in the dorm. And you will not have to pay debt or take out loans to do the program, which is one of the really great perks of it. You do 2 summers of master's degree coursework at Notre Dame on campus. So like I said, you're going to be living on campus in a dorm, eating in the dining hall. That's all provided by us. And then we have an amazing group of faculty and staff here that will support you and teach you and prepare you to be a teacher, so that by the time that you go out into your site in August or September after your summer of coursework, you are fully prepared to do the work of full-time teaching. So you get to do 2 years of full-time teaching. You live in community once you're out there. You're going to live with about 4 to 7 other ACE teachers in your community, not necessarily teaching at the same schools, but you're going to be sharing in life together and living in the same house or apartment, and having kind of someone to explore the city with and bounce ideas off and really like walk alongside each other through this service journey. Last but most certainly not least, you get to grow in faith, which is a really unique part of this program, is that we are rooted in Catholic values and we serve in Catholic schools. And so wherever you are on your faith journey, whether that's with the Catholic Church or not, we invite you into this space to kind of be open to growing spiritually and learning from the experience. This little graphic on the left here is one of our most visited pages on our website, is the Where We Serve page. So if you haven't been on there, you should definitely check it out. These are all of the communities that we're serving in across the country. So you can kind of see how wide we span, and how many different people and communities we're serving. So just a cool little overview. We love to give Denver a shout out because they're kind of smack dab in the middle there. I'm going to kick it over to Patrick, and he's going to get a little bit more into the weeds, but that's just kind of like a 30,000 foot program view for you. So, Patrick.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Kat. So really just moving forward and talking about ACE as a program, there are three pillars of ACE, and you can find this information on our website. But when you think about what we do and what we focus on as far as supporting you through the program, it's these three dimensions of the program. And so as you can see, they're teaching, community, and spirituality. And so we're going to go through each one just kind of one by one and talk about it. So if we want to start with teaching, first, I just want to take a moment and, I want you to think about whether it's high school or college, the most impactful professors you had, the most inspirational teachers you had, the people that really changed your mind or changed your perspective on things and got you really excited about learning. And now, kind of considering that, the great thing about ACE is that you get to become that teacher for so many students. And so, again, I taught high school science, and my passion for physics and chemistry started when I was in middle school and then continued in high school and college. The reason that I had that, such great drive was because of my teachers. And being able to bring that to my own classroom when I taught physics and chemistry was really exciting. And kind of thinking about how we do that within the program, it starts, as Kat says, or as Kat said, with the professors who help you over the summer. They're there to make you the best teachers you can be, and they're extremely qualified and really supportive with the work that they, have you do. We even have you student teach over the first summer to get some experience teaching in summer schools to get some practice there. And then when you're out in your school placements teaching across the country, you're visited once a semester by an academic supervisor who's a professor working directly with you and your community. The great thing there is they're mentoring you, and they only have a few communities that they work with, so it's very personalized. It's not like they're working with so many people that they fail to kind of focus in on you. So ACE does a really great job of supporting you as you're growing as a professional educator. And there's just a lot of opportunities for you to become yourself when you're in the classroom, because ultimately, when you're there every day, the kids end up looking up to you. And it becomes really an awesome opportunity for you to be a role model, both just in the field that you're teaching, but also just a role model in the community and in the school. And whether that's coaching or tutoring or helping outside of the classroom, kids end up really appreciating that. And I think back on my 2 years of teaching and just really value the moments and memories that I made with my students and getting them excited. And for some of them, I got to teach them for 2 years and coach them, and seeing them go from, high school boys that were not that really interested in school and really cared about, a lot of other things, to then seeing them excited about applying for college and asking me to write them a letter of rec was just a really touching moment that I really appreciated in my time in ACE. And so, kind of moving on from teaching and looking at this idea of community within ACE, there's so many layers of community and support within the ACE program that I kind of want to break it down kind of step by step. To start, you have the entire ACE, community of the teachers in your cohort. So every cohort's about 90 to 95 teachers. Over the summer, you're here on campus together, going to class together, enjoying, time together. We have, scheduled events like trivia and other things where you get to, know people better, but just really enjoyed the time with a bunch of other young professionals, which is really awesome. And that's really your first layer of community support. And then when you go and travel to your own, placement across the country, you still have those people, even if they're not right next to you. And then that's where we get to that, that next, deeper layer of your house. You live in community in the same place with your, 4 to 6 other ACE teachers, and together you pray, you eat, you share meals, and then you just get to experience the joys of living in a new space and also teaching for the first time all together. And so that leads to a lot of opportunities for adventure on the weekends. Like I got to teach in Baton Rouge, which meant I got to go to LSU football games or go to New Orleans and, be part of, experience Mardi Gras and do really, new adventures for me, being someone from New England. It was incredible food, great people, and I got to share those moments with other people who were also new to the area. And so they form that other, kind of part of your community experience. And then another part of your community is just the school that you're teaching at. They really appreciate the work that you're doing. They understand it's difficult to be a young person to move somewhere else and to start teaching. And so, whether it's your principal, your coworkers, even your students and their families, they're all really grateful that you're there. And again, I was spoiled being in Louisiana, but I got fed jambalaya and gumbo, and just being welcomed to any and all events, whether it was a crawfish boil or other stuff like that. Just having that support from the community was really special, and made, my experience incredible. And the best part about ACE is that, experience of community is different in every placement. So not every place is going to have a crawfish boil, but you're going to have those moments with your faculty and with other people in your community. The last thing I want to just touch on before we go into spirituality is that, with community, ACE also has another person on the ACE team who visits you each semester, kind of similar to the academic, professor who works with you, but they're solely there to support you in your needs, as you kind of navigate the new place, the new position, and all the struggles and joys that may come with that. And so they're dedicated not to, be there to be grading you or supporting you, academically as a teacher. They're just there to support you as a person. And so it's another way that ACE does a great job of kind of keeping in touch with you and just making sure that you're being as successful and happy and healthy as you can be. And talking about kind of just, your own personal growth, we're getting into now our final pillar, which is spirituality. The great thing about ACE is, yes, we're a Catholic program because we're teaching at Catholic schools, but the students that we serve may not all be Catholic. And so the teachers who are in the ACE program don't necessarily have to be Catholic either, right? You might see that label and be a little nervous. It's okay if you're not Catholic. We just ask that you're open to growing in your faith. There's so many opportunities both within your school, but also within ACE to grow in your, spirituality. And so I want to just highlight a few of them here because I think they're really incredible. Looking at it from, ACE's perspective, we offer over 10 retreats, which is really awesome. And they're across the 2 years. And so whether it's the opening retreat in April, or midsummer retreats during the summer programming, we have an entire, retreat with both cohorts and ACE team members. It happens in December every year. We fly everyone out to Austin and spend a weekend just kind of relaxing, debriefing almost from that first semester of teaching, just enjoying each other's company for the first time since the summer. And so that's a really big moment there. But there's also other opportunities, like regional retreats, just depending on the region of the country you're in, and other, opportunities like that that are, retreat specific. And yes, they have moments where there's mass or opportunities for confession if you're Catholic, but they're also just full of great time and incredible opportunity to reflect and discuss and be in small group or meditative, silence, to allow you to grow no matter what your faith background is. And so just being aware of all the incredible opportunities that ACE offers here is something to consider as you're thinking about ACE. And then also within your school setting, you are a Catholic school teacher, and being able to kind of bring your own personality and your own spirituality to your own classroom and community is another dimension of this program, and we ask that people embrace that. I am Catholic, which meant it was really awesome that I got to lead the senior retreat, that happened in the fall, where we went away for a weekend, which spending time with high schoolers for, you know, 3 days straight in the middle of the woods is an experience, but I really enjoyed it. And it was something that, I think the seniors got a lot out of, even those who kind of were not really in touch with their faith, really appreciated that time. And so thinking about the ways that you can serve in your school as a role model, and ultimately you're just there to love and serve and teach the kids. And so if you're not Catholic, you don't necessarily have to be someone who, is going to participate as a Eucharistic minister or a lector at a mass. But as long as you're there present and showing that you care and support about those kids, you care about and support those kids, they really appreciate that and they see that, and it has a big impact on how they view you and just kind of their Catholic education as a whole. And so there's a lot more we could talk about here, but those are kind of the three pillars. And I'm going to pass it back to Kat so she can keep going about just ways you can serve.
Great, thanks, Patrick. But Patrick honestly touched on a lot of these, but if you let's just take a look at these photos for a second. This is so much joy going on here. Patrick mentioned his time coaching. I almost also was able to coach when I was in ACE. I coached high school and elementary school soccer, which was loads of fun. You see it in this picture, in the center picture here, we've got a cross country coach. Patrick mentioned serving in retreats. That's something that I took an opportunity to do as well. On the left here, we have a picture of one of our ACE teachers serving at Mass. And then there's just a variety of other ways that you can get involved in the community, which is really, really cool in terms of you are just fully embraced by whatever new school and community you fall into, and you get to make it the kind of experience that really you want it to be, and just kind of dive all in and serve in a variety of ways, even beyond the classroom. Like, obviously, this is a teaching fellowship, but you just don't think of all the other exciting ways that you get to serve beyond. So we just wanted to take a second to highlight that here. Want to talk a little bit about program benefits. This is more of a numbers game. So in addition to cost-free masters, you're also going to benefit from tuition, room and board for the grad school at Notre Dame. We talked about that. You get travel stipends to account for necessary travel associated with the program. So anytime that you're coming to campus for summer work or leaving to go out to your community, or if we're flying you for a retreat, we are going to make sure that we've got that covered, because we don't want any of that coming out of your pocket since this is a service program. You get subsidized rent and a living stipend moderated by ACE. This means that you get a certain amount of money per pay period from your school that is based on the cost of living in your community. So cost of living in California might be higher than it is in Tulsa, which might even look different than it is in Cleveland or Twin Cities. And so we take that into account. We want to make sure that you're covered in terms of what you need to put into gas money and insurance and your subsidized rent. We find the housing for you all, and so that's not something that we ask our ACE teachers to do. We've got set houses, and we set up the stipend subsidized rent that you'll be paying to make it easy. And then it just kind of gives you practice of paying rent and being an adult and living in the world without the added stress of like the oh man, I really don't have enough money to do this. So we want to make sure that you feel supported, as well as recognizing that we're not going to give you an overabundance because we're serving in a deficit of the schools that we're serving in. So we want to kind of live that in solidarity with those students and families. You're eligible for loan deferment by doing the program. And so a lot of our grads or our current ACE teachers will take advantage of that. And it kind of, what that means is it'll put your college loans on pause for the 2 years that you're doing the program, so that you're not having to use your ACE stipend to shove money towards student loans. And then you get the amazing opportunity to be a graduate of and an alum of Notre Dame and ACE alumni network. So Notre Dame is really well connected across the country. Many of you guys might know it's kind of a big deal. I grew up here, and so I just I love it. I adore this place. But people don't always stay in South Bend. They will come to Notre Dame, they'll reap the benefits, and they'll go out and support each other in a number of really cool ways. And so you'll have access to that as a graduate. And then here at ACE, we have what we call ACE Advocates, and that's just our alumni network. And it's the same thing, but it's all of the ACE grads and wherever they end up. And we love how much our advocates are supporting each other and our current ACE teachers. There's a lot of times that we'll have advocates in places where we have school communities, and they will bring dinner or make sure that somebody's there to check on the house over the summer, or support in a number of like random ways that ACE teachers might need support. So you get access to that, which is huge, and just very helpful. Um, so the master's degree, just to put some numbers to it, is worth over $140,000, and you're not paying a penny of that. My mom used to often remind me that when I was like, "Oh my gosh, mom, I don't have enough money to buy a whole new wardrobe in the spring," which is a trait that I like to do. And she'd be like, "You are getting a master's degree for free, and it's totally worth it." And she's so right. It's totally worth it. Um, I talked a little bit about the post-grad support, and when you graduate from the program, not everyone is going to stay in teaching or in education. We have a number of people go on to do other amazing things as well. So a lot of our ACE grads will get into competitive PhD, JD, and MD programs. A lot will stay in education policy or leadership if they're not staying in the classroom, and that would mean interacting with education on kind of a higher level, or moving back into a different field work, such as engineering, business, STEM, public policy, a lot of times whatever they studied in undergrad. So a lot of people that graduate from ACE do stay in education or do stay in teaching or in some capacity, but we have a lot of people that take the skills that they learned in ACE and use it to catapult them into the next thing as well. So just a lot of support, and we want to make sure that we can help you find those things that are really going to make an impact moving on. Just want to put this on your radar here. If you want to click into this QR code, it'll take you to our website page, see where ACE takes you. That's our little tagline here. We'd love for you to join us for another webinar. We run these regularly throughout the year. So this is the program overview webinar. There's also going to be an application tips and tricks webinar. And so we invite you to check those out. You can connect with us on a campus visit. Our recruiting team is always visiting other campuses. And so if you see that we're going to be on your campus, please reach out to us. We'd love to hang out, grab a coffee, talk a little bit more about the program. If you are a huge Notre Dame fan and you're going to be on campus for a game or for whatever other reason, we'd love to host you during the week. And so if you're going to come in on a Friday, we'd love to set up a meeting with you. So feel free to reach out on that front as well. And then Patrick and I and the rest of the team are always open to setting up a Zoom call or a phone call and meeting with you all and answering more questions for you. So there's a number of ways that you can be involved before and during the application process. And we just invite you to take advantage of those things because we really want to get to know you and your stories. I'm going to pass it over to Patrick for a couple last points here. So Patrick's going to talk a little bit about the application and materials and what you'll need for that.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Kat. So if you've been listening to this and you're, a senior in college or a young professional who just graduated and you're super excited, well, that's awesome. You can apply for this upcoming summer term, and we have the dates here for the application timeline. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Just one thing I wanted to note, we do have a full webinar opportunity some of the webinars we offer are specifically for the application, both the timeline materials, but also just like some tips and tricks and an opportunity for maybe, discussion with one of us on the recruitment team if you have any personal issues or concerns there. So if you have longer questions or more serious things there, feel free to reach out to us or sign up for one of those webinars there. Just looking at this timeline, so the application opens in September, and it's then going to run through the fall and the spring, and we have two timelines here. There's the timeline, in the fall deadline is November 5th, and then the spring timeline is January 21st. They're both for the same summer entry term of summer of 2025, and the main difference there is because we're working with Catholic schools across the country, and it's an incredible partnership, we have to manage the fact that they're going to be making requests for teachers in the spring. And so when we think about the two timelines, if you're really excited and looking forward to doing ACE regardless of your placement, the fall timeline makes a lot of sense for you because in that fall timeline, in that time when we would offer you admission to the program, that would happen in kind of the first week and a half of December. You would then be accepted into the program and find out your placement later on come March. The spring deadline, which is January, is similar, except when you receive that offer, you would then know your placement then. And so that placement, then you could say yes or no to that specific placement. So if you're kind of waiting on other, options or weighing, there's, reasons that you need to be in a specific region or something, that's totally okay. And we understand that. And that's why we kind of offer the spring deadline option to give you some flexibility and allow for further conversation with us. Um, if you look at the application itself, we kind of ask for some pretty standard things. We'd like an academic transcript from your university. It does not have to be an official transcript. So, like, please just take a screenshot of whatever portal you use. Make sure it has your name on it and shows us the list of all your courses taken, as well as your GPA, so we can look at that. That's great. When it comes to the resume, we just ask for a professional resume that's 1 page long, that includes, experiences that you think are relevant for us to know. If you have questions about that, we're happy to talk through that with you and kind of walk with you through that resume making experience. We can also share with you resume templates if need be. And then if we look at the personal essays, there's about 6 responses that we ask from you. They're really short. And when I say short, I mean like about 200 words short. So they're not that long. But we do ask you to spend some time with them and, you write, what is meaningful and important to you. We ask that you're open here because it's our best way of getting to know you as a person beyond just what your resume says and beyond what your transcript says. So really just dive into that. If you have any questions or concerns, again, we're happy to help there. Um, and then the last major thing that we ask for in the application are 3 recommendations. We ask that 2 of them come from professors or people who know you in that academic setting. And so if that's like a lab advisor who maybe didn't technically teach you a class, but was a really like a big, academic mentor, that also counts. And then one other person who knows you outside of the classroom and in a community space or a spiritual space. So oftentimes that's like a campus minister, a dorm rector, or director, or other programs like that. That someone who can attest to you as a person, just kind of in your experience, whether it's your spiritual life, your community life, or in some other setting. If you have any questions about, does this person match this criteria? Again, we're happy to clarify. If you've graduated college a few years back and you now have experience in the workforce, and you would rather swap one of those professors for your current employer or boss or floor manager, definitely just let us know, and that definitely can replace one of those professor options because they know you in that professional setting outside of obviously the classroom, which may have been a few years ago. And then the last thing, just to talk about the application itself, we are test optional. We do not require you to go submit any SAT, ACT, or GRE scores. So don't pay money to take those things again. If you took them for some other program or you still have your scores from high school, and you're proud of them and want to share them, great, share them with us. That's awesome. But we don't you require them because we know that that's something a lot of places are doing. We're not requiring any of those tests. And then if you look at the bottom of the slide, if for whatever reason you have a time sensitive, offer, competitive offer or concern, feel free to reach out and we can get you in contact with the people to talk about a potential expedited application decision, just because we know that we want great teachers, but we know that you're also considering other great programs. And so if there's a way we can kind of assist you in helping you look at your opportunities and decisions, we're happy to kind of to have that conversation offline with you. And then just real quick, if there are any juniors out there who are really interested in the program, we have what's called the ACE Ambassador program. It's, again, open to rising seniors, and that application will open in the spring. So spring of 2025. It is early admittance to then the next cohort of ACE. So this would be ACE 33. It'll be the following summer, the summer after your senior year. And what the program really does is not just, the fact that you're part of the program and in it, you then come to campus the summer before for a weekend. It's the Summer Institute at Notre Dame, where you get to meet members of the team, and you also get to kind of get a sneak peek at what ACE summer looks like and what it looks like to be an ambassador for ACE at your own respective university. So because you're actually working as a recruiting, member of our team, you are receive a stipend. And then at the same time, we're also just working with you to continue to develop your personal and professional relationships with us on the team to prepare you to be the best teacher you're going to be after you graduate, after your senior year. And so again, if you're really interested in that, we also offer a full webinar kind of going through that program in more greater detail. But just for you juniors out there, something to consider and put on your radar this upcoming February.
Thanks, Patrick. Just before we close out here, look at all these happy faces. This is our team, and we'd love to get to know you a little bit better. We all come from different backgrounds. Some of us went to Notre Dame, some of us did not. Some of us taught, some of us did not. So a lot of things going on here, and we just want to get to know you guys. And hopefully one of us will connect with you. So these people, these faces, all of our contact info is on the website as well. We just wanted to show you that we have a whole team of people who are really wanting to help you and get to know you a little bit better. With that, we are going to conclude our session here. Like we said, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. If you want to sign up for another webinar or connect with us in a different way, we're really happy to do that. But we appreciate your time today, and we'll see you next time.